Welcome back to Crazy Life Homestead. I'm Mo. I wanted to give you an idea of what's been going on. My husband Greg has been off for the week, and we have been working on a lot of projects that we wanted to get completed. We do have some footage to show you. I've given you sneak peeks of some of the pictures. I'm headed to Tractor Supply right now. I've got Miss Billa in the car in the back seat, and she likes going in her car. We go up the truck to go to one of her favorite stores that she's allowed into. So we're headed there now, and when I get back to the homestead, I will start showing you an update of what we have been up to. Alright, so we're here back at the house, and as you can see on the side of the house, I have gotten rid of the tubs. My husband helped me move them on Friday. This is Monday. We've been busy. So the grass will grow back, as grass does, and I'll show you where I put them. So we decided to spill the contents of them into the garden. I'm going to pick out the wood, and we'll probably burn that. There's 3 piles, and there's 3 more piles, kind of. So there were 4 tubs. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Miss Bella in the background, who's doing quite well. The corn has been harvested. I've harvested it for seed, and the critters are having a good time with it, which is fine. I mean, Mother Nature's Mother Nature, however you look at it. So they've been picking at it on the ground there and pulling on it and bringing it over here, where they're having a good time eating on it. And they've also been traveling back over here with it. And I believe that's an ear also, right there. Yep, they've been traveling. I guess it's raccoons, because they've been traveling back up this tree, which happens to be the walnut tree. All those walnuts. Lots of walnuts. So this is where we decided to put them. They will be refilled. The problem with the soil that I bought, it didn't have any perlite or vermiculite in it for the nutrients that the garlic needed. So we're going to plant garlic in the ground. That's one project. Currently, we're going to close this thing up for the winter, and it's just storing stuff, which is fun. Now, I showed you a picture of the barn. Now, this is the truck entranceway, not the animal entranceway, although it could be. This is what Greg finished off. And up on the top there, he wants to put a vent, or just keep it open like that as a vent. That was completed Sunday. And then yesterday,
and we love what we do here at 7 Mountains Media. We create your local radio stations, like the one you're listening to.
I don't know if you can see it with all this light. Yeah, you can see it. He put this in and took all of the panels out of the barn, and we got much more space now. I put chickens in here. We currently have about 38 bales of hay. He said 50 should be more than enough to get us through the winter. So he put another pallet down. and gave me a separate pallet that we had to cut in half as a pull them down, break it apart, and that's where it's going to sit until it's used up. And then on the other side, we organized it so that the fan can be on. The line could be, currently the line is on an extension cord. And then shavings pallet with some extra bucket. It doesn't have anything, it's just pretty much the storage area for it. Chairs and buckets of brushes and meds and the hay bags, a couple of halters. I have a shelf for my my drill that'll clean out the trough. We have some towels and some buckets with different odds and ends, like the pick hoof. We have fly spray and some suntan lotion for Duke's nose. There you go, for Duke's nose. And then down below we have a garbage, that's garbage, and then 2 feed buckets. And then on the very end, where the entrance that I just walked through is, a lawnmower. So we have one less lawnmower in the garage. We have an extra hook, and he put the hammer up there because we use the hammer a lot. And then there's a rake up against that wall. This is so functional. Right now, since we only have the one horse, we're just going to use this as one big stall. There you go, that's much better. We have an area here for brushes. Yes, we use milk crates. We've had these milk crates for years, so they're kind of busted up and stuff. We have a little hook here for his halter. And then below that we have water for Bella. We have a place for the wheelbarrow. And we have a place for our rakes. He'll probably try and nudge them, but they won't go anywhere. So it, like I said, it looks really functional. Another thing that he did, this is what we had in the other barn up on Big Farm, is we tied off, he screwed off the milk crates to the wall. Since we don't have any wood here, he bolted the wood to the metal. And now we have something for water and something for feed. So as you'll hear in the background, Greg is working on more fencing. So let me show you what that's all about. So as we walk out the horse entrance to the barn, we have the water trough. We have the big water trough. We don't know what we're doing with it yet. And these are all the panels. Well, you think you're going to come and check it out? Oh, you got a horsefly bothering you, huh? You want me to get him? Why did we do all that? Well, one, because we have one little tiny horse. And two, is because we would like some more backyard. So let me show you what I mean. Here's the back of the house. Here's the back of the house. And unfortunately, the garage is right in the way. So we really have no backyard to say. Most of it has been the horse pasture. So instead, what we wanted to do, here's the fire pit. We're going to clean out most of this area here and get rid of all this junk and the plants and everything, and then we're going to put a lean-to on it and extend the garage out. And then we're probably going to get rid of a couple of trees back here. This is that other Japanese blossom, cherry blossom, whatever it is, and it's also dying. Behind it used to be a tree limb that had fallen off of this tree. Yeah, right there. And it was leaning straight across here. So we chopped it up. And since that time, it's been 5 or 6 years since it's, probably longer than that, but since it's fallen, and now we have this opening. So my next project is to clear all of this out. All of that back there. So that we can have a walkway through. Let me show you. See, all this needs to be cleared out. All this fallen stuff. Some stuff we've cut. So that we can walk back here and have a decent backyard. And again, here's the corner of the fence that we just put up. That lower bar right here, that's Duke's rubbing stick, his branch from his favorite tree. So we took the gate. It was running from that tree to this tree, through this fencing to this tree, and then to that tree, and then to the corner post right there. So we moved it 10 feet inward that way. He straightened it. It was on an angle. There's a hole over there. It was on an angle that way into the barn. I'll show you those holes later. See where see the gate up by the barn right there? That's the divider for the trailer. It was closer to that hole. And instead, he moved it to where the exterior gate is now. So it runs straight across. Comes down here. You saw the clearing that he did over there. And then he took that 16-foot panel that we had that we'll probably never use again and planted it right there. And used it as a fencing area for the path to get into the next paddock. So all in all, it came out really good. I don't even think he realized that he did a 6-foot post, a 5-foot post, a 6-foot post, 5-foot post, 6-foot post, and a 5-foot post. I think that's pretty funny. But all of this back here that you see, all of this is ours. Now we have a backyard to play in and do bonfires safer, away from the house, and let me walk in here and show you what I'm talking about. Or another paddock for another animal. What? Did she say that? Uh-oh. Future thought. Now behind this tree line right here, there's a fence. There's a barbed wire fence. And it's stuck in all of that stuff back there. Same here. There's a fence, barbed wire fence that's stuck all the way in there. That's what he attached to over here. And that's what we clipped when we first got here. Maybe I'll make some of this the garden. What? If not for a new animal. So this is what I have to clear. All of this wonderful debris that doesn't do anything. It's not doing anything. It's just turning into a cluster because it could grow. Mother Nature got wild, and we have a lot to burn. So all the stuff that I pulled out from what I was calling the new garden is all right here. So we can burn all of this. And if I can get in there, I could show you how thick this stuff is. The barbed wire fence starts back there. And this is how thick this is. And how much growth. So we can cut some of this back and gain some more backyard. Again, Mother Nature has taken control and really gotten in there. I don't know if I'm getting a shot, but that's what it looks like. It's thick and it's brambly and pokey and all sorts of stuff. And kind of just clean it all up. And straighten it out. So when we get the tractor back, which went in for a new clutch, they didn't need a clutch, we just had to realign the clutch. We'll be able to get more work power done. Sorry, the breeze has picked up a little bit, but it's been a couple of hours since we've been out here. We were too hungry. We went out and got something to eat. And again, this is just part of it. I was going to go back here and show you again, we can push all of this back because it goes back good 15 feet. So all these briars that you see sticking out, that's what's causing all the nuisance with the mowing. But this is a reversal. That's the garage. There's the house. This is that tree. And some of these trees, I'm going to call a tree service and get an estimate and see what it would cost to trim them down a good 20-25 feet. It'd be nice to watch shooting stars and stuff. And then I got to figure out whose trees these are. Ours or theirs. I wouldn't mind the fence being that thin, so you can just barely see through it. Oh, I heard a snort. There he is. I think he's already figured out that we've done all this work. Not that he needs this much space. So he's so flexible. So as of this is going to open up all of this space for us. So once I get all of that cleared out right there, we'll have all sorts of stuff we can do back here. This is 1/8 of an acre right here. You know, like I said, I could put a chicken coop out here. I could put a garden out here. We can have a little backyard back here. There's a lot we can do with this space right here. So I think what's happening over here is that tree right there has fallen. And it's just a widowmaker way in the back there. Can you see it? Right there. Haven't explored it. Not really worried about it. So I know from... This is a corner right here. And it goes this way. I know that from that fallen tree, now it hits our property. So all of these are ours. And we can have them trimmed back, or we can get a DeWalt saw, tree saw, extended tree saw, and get them all trimmed back. We will see. It'll be a project. Like I said, there's still a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. So when we get it cleaned up, you will see the progress as we go along. But for right now, this is what we're dealing with. So I'm going to end it here. You guys, thank you for coming along. I really appreciate it. All the new people, welcome aboard. I'm going to sign off. You guys stay safe, stay out of trouble. We'll catch you on the next one.